Good evening, everyone. On behalf of American University and the School of Public Affairs, we want to welcome you to the 2020 Roger Jones Awards ceremony. One of our distinguished faculty members, the late Bernie Rosen, a Civil Service Commissioner, then Office of Personnel Management, founded the RJA Awards ceremony in 1978. And it seems to get better every year. This is always such a terrific time for all of us and a chance to celebrate amazing leadership in government. For those of you who may not know, Roger Jones was a United States government official that served 7 presidents over 43 years. He was the Deputy Secretary of State, Deputy Director of OMB, and Chairman of the Civil Service Commission. He gave speeches extolling the importance of public admin. He was a prolific writer and stressed the need to provide professional education for public managers. Since 1978, this award has recognized federal career executives of the senior executive service who've demonstrated superior leadership in achieving their agency's mission. And in line with the values of the Key Executive Leadership Program, this prestigious award is reserved for public servants who demonstrate a commitment not only to mission, but to developing and inspiring those whom they lead. Before we get too far down the road, I want to say a special thank you to the Roger Jones Selection Committee. Many of them are on the line with us tonight. The members of the Key Alumni Advisory Council and the Key Diversity and Inclusion Council, who poured through some very, very competitive nominations to come up with our winners. Thank you all for your time and commitment to making this happen. And I want to thank the Key team as well. Our Key Executive Leadership team does their magic better than anyone. And a special thank you to Lamont, Bree, and Jennifer, who are behind the scenes like astronauts right now with a lot of things in front of them typing and keeping us all live and active and going on this program. This is a celebration, and it's a celebration of the most talented, diverse, educated, and committed workforce of any government, anywhere in the world. In order to be selected for this award, nominees have to demonstrate selfless commitment, dignity, humility, and those folks are with us today, the servants of our nation, people who are part of our government, friends of our government, who are doing amazing things to serve our nation. We have folks with us today from the public and nonprofit and private sectors, along with faculty members and staff from the School of Public Affairs and the Key Executive Leadership Program, all here for the same reason, one reason, to say thank you. To our nominators, you do what great leaders do. I thank you all so much. You recognized the work that was being done. You understood its value, its impact. Most importantly, you took the time to tell someone about it. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. So to all of our nominators, thank you so much. And of course, last but certainly not least, we've got our award winners, Eileen, Matthew, Kimberly, Lois, Brad. The reason that we are here today, and we've been waiting for this moment. So with a little applause, let's get this show on the road.
It is my distinct honor today to nominate an executive of Eileen McDaniel's caliber for this prestigious award. Her career spans 3 decades of public service, and I have been privileged to work with her for 18 years across 2 agencies. And in that time, it is not just her expertise in every area of senior management, from budget to IT services to human resources. It is not just her ability to achieve results, in many ways spectacular results for the agencies that she has led. Instead, it is who she is and what she brings to her work on a personal level that makes her such a wonderful candidate for this award. She's a true leader of employees at all levels of the organization, a true mentor to the next generation of leaders. She has an uncanny ability to synthesize information, spot risks, and avoid them. And she is a true servant in her approach to leadership, always thinking about the public service, the mission of the agency, and the support of the people she works with. So it is my true joy today to be able to nominate Eileen McDaniel On behalf of the public, she has spent a lifetime serving, the agencies that she has led to success, and the many people that she has mentored, encouraged, and supported throughout her career.
Thank you, Judge Griswold, for that very kind introduction and for nominating me for the Roger W. Jones Award. I have had the pleasure of working with you for close to 2 decades on some of the most challenging leadership issues facing the 2 largest administrative adjudicatory agencies in government at the Department of Health and Human Services and the Social Security Administration. It has been an honor to work alongside you. I also want to thank American University and the School of Public Affairs for recognizing me with this prestigious award. Receiving this award from an academic institution is very meaningful to me personally, as I began my professional career working in academia. It was there that my interest in public policy was formed, leading me to a long, rewarding career in public service. Roger Jones dedicated his professional life to public service, spending many years at the Office of Management and Budget, an agency that I have worked closely with over the years, overseeing agency budgets. I have been very fortunate throughout my career to work with many extraordinary public servants, and this award is reflective of the top-notch support I have received from all of them. I wish to extend my sincere congratulations to today's honorees, Matthew, Bradley, Lois, and Kimberly, all of whom are recognized for extraordinary leadership. I am humbled to share the Zoom stage with all of them. In closing, thank you to Brianne Dorsey and her team for all of the planning for today's celebration, recognizing it was not easy to orchestrate during a global pandemic. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jay Lerner. I'm the Inspector General at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Matthew Alessandrino as recipient of the Roger W. Jones Award for Executive Leadership. Matt has served as the Assistant Inspector General for Investigations in this office, the FDIC OIG, since 2008, and he has truly built the investigations function in the office to what it is today. The unit initially started off working rudimentary cases of administrative violations. However, over time, our investigations function and group has grown significantly in scope and size under Matt's leadership. Currently, our investigations team is comprised of approximately 65 highly skilled and specially trained agents working complex, sophisticated financial fraud crimes against banks, bank executives, officers, and directors, and other financial insiders. I am so pleased to have nominated and to present Matthew Alessandrino as recipient of the Roger W. Jones Award for Executive Leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this award. It's an honor to be recognized with all these other incredible nominees and recipients. A special thank you to Brianna Dorsey, Dr. Malone, Jennifer Tether, and the rest of the American University staff for their tireless efforts in putting together this event. I want to thank Inspector General Jay Lerner and his 2 deputies, Gail Stone and Tyler Smith, for nominating me for this prestigious award. Their support and leadership is vital to the development, success, and the excellence of our office. I want to thank my supportive family, my wife Carol and the 3 daughters, Devin, Agnes, Madison, for their understanding and encouragement. But most of all, I need to thank my coworkers at the FDIC Office of Inspector General. I look at this award as a team effort and a testament to the extraordinary coordination and collaboration that is done in this office on a daily basis. I'll close with a quote from Mark Twain. Find a job you enjoy doing and you'll never work a day in your life. That about sums up my 30 years here in the federal government. Thank you.
Hello, I'm David Pekoski, Administrator of the Transportation Security Administration. I congratulate all of the recipients of this year's Roger Jones Award and recognize the contribution of American University's Key Executive Leadership Program for making us all better. It gives me great pleasure to introduce TSA's award recipient, Ms. Kimberly Walton. Kim was named TSA's Executive Assistant Administrator for Enterprise Support in June 2018. In her position, she's responsible for all of our enterprise support programs to include human resources, acquisition, training, logistics, and administrative support services. Additionally, as an Executive Assistant Administrator, Kim is also a member of TSA's Leadership Council and contributes to the strategic direction of this large operating agency with over 64,000 men and women in over 440 domestic and international locations and with an annual budget of approximately $8 billion. Prior to this role, Kim served as the Assistant Administrator in our Office of Civil Rights and Liberties, Ombudsman, and Traveler Engagement. While with TSA, Kim has received the Department of Homeland Security Secretary's Award for Diversity Management, the TSA Trailblazer Award in recognition of her pioneering efforts towards the advancement of women, and was recently elected as a Fellow of the National Academy of Public Administration. Kim is a pillar of the TSA community, serving as president of our Women Executives at TSA, an employee advocacy group devoted to developing future leaders and supporting causes like combating violence against women. Kim is recognized agency-wide for her commitment to mentorship, her approachability, and her passion for and commitment to our important transportation security mission. I could not think of a more deserving recipient of the prestigious Roger Jones Award. Kim, I speak for the entirety of TSA leadership and the entirety of TSA when I say how proud we are of your achievement and how honored we are to serve alongside you. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Kimberly Walton.
I'm Kimberly Walton, and I currently serve as the Executive Assistant Administrator for Enterprise Support at the Transportation Security Administration. It is truly an honor to be nominated for and selected as a recipient of this award that was created in recognition of Roger W. Jones, a distinguished public servant and leader who extolled the importance of public administration and stressed the need to provide professional education for public managers. Throughout my over 30-year career, from being an attorney at the EEOC to my current role as Executive Assistant Administrator, I have embraced every minute of my public service. It is because of my personal commitment and deep belief in the importance of public service, coupled with those men and women who served as mentors, coaches, and sponsors throughout my career, that I am here today and able to accept this award. I would also not be here today without the dedicated commitment to excellence in public service demonstrated by both employees who have worked in organizations I led and fellow leaders I've worked alongside throughout my federal career. I am truly honored to be recognized with this award. Thank you.
It is my privilege to present Lois Greisman with American University's Roger W. Jones Award for Executive Leadership. As Associate Director for Marketing Practices, Lois designs and implements the FTC's law enforcement and policy initiatives that combat civil fraud, an enterprise that causes billions of dollars in economic injury to the American public. In her nearly 30-year career, Lois has worked tirelessly to halt fraud in its tracks, secure assets to provide redress to consumer victims, and further the FTC's consumer protection mission. In the last several years alone, Lois has initiated and led numerous law enforcement sweeps with state, federal, local, and even international partners to shut down all kinds of scams, including tech support scams, bogus business opportunities, and illegal robocalls, to name a few. She also played a significant role in the FTC's National Do Not Call Registry, a landmark initiative that gave consumers the power to choose whether telemarketers could call them. It is no surprise that Lois is recognized nationally and internationally as a consumer protection leader, innovator, and advocate. But Lois's impact goes far beyond her extraordinary legal accomplishments. Lois has developed and mentored countless attorneys and works with leaders across the agency, prioritizing teamwork and staff development and optimizing the use of human, financial, and information resources. As a senior BCP leader for nearly 2 decades, Lois has played a pivotal role in establishing the FTC and BCP in particular as one of the best places to work in the U.S. government. Lois's significant and far-reaching impact on the Commission, staff, and the public policy embody the Roger W. Jones Award, and I cannot think of a better way to recognize her significant achievements. Congratulations, Lois.
To begin, my deepest thanks to Chairman Simons for nominating me. Thanks, Joe. I really do appreciate it. And my thanks to American University's School of Public Affairs. I'm truly grateful and honored to be recognized among so many amazing public servants. So when I begin speeches, I often say, I have one of the best jobs in town. And I say that because it's true. I genuinely mean it. The FTC has a remarkable mission to protect consumers and competition. And it's an agile, small agency. And best of all, it's filled with smart and innovative people who are passionate about protecting consumers across every community. I firmly believe that the work the Federal Trade Commission does makes a difference in people's lives. And I feel privileged to have the opportunity to work at the FTC. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm extremely honored and proud to have nominated Mr. Bradley Bunn for the very prestigious American University Roger W. Jones Award. Based upon my 37 years of military experience, I can say with full confidence that Brad Bunn is among the finest leaders and managers and the best human resources executive that I've ever known. His capstone achievements during our time together at the Defense Logistics Agency included development of a human capital strategy that covered all 26,000 of our employees across the United States and around the globe, as well as his dynamic support to 11 other Department of Defense organizations, totaling 45,000 people. Ladies and gentlemen, it simply doesn't get any better than Brad Bunn. He's one of a kind. To Brad, thank you for your service and my sincere congratulations.
I'd like to thank the American University School of Public Affairs for this honor. I am truly humbled to be recognized among so many outstanding public servants. I'd also like to thank my staff at DLA for pulling together the nomination package, which represents accomplishments for which I can only take partial credit. There are hundreds of professionals I've served with over the years whose shoulders I stood on to achieve any success for which I can be recognized. My deep gratitude to General Williams, U.S. Army retired, not only for his endorsement of my nomination, but also for his leadership and friendship over many years, and of course, his more than 3 decades of service to our nation. I'd also like to thank my family, including my parents, Brian and Maureen Bunn, who shaped the foundation of my work ethic, my principles, and my core values. Finally, I would not be receiving this award if I did not have the support and love of my wife, Deanna, and my daughter, Eliza. They're the reason I aspire to achievements beyond what I could possibly expect of myself, and they are the center of gravity that keeps me grounded and balanced. So again, thank you for this surprising and amazing honor.
Hi, I'm Vicki Wilkins, Dean of School of Public Affairs. I am pleased to send my congratulations to this year's Roger Jones winners. We are thrilled to recognize your exceptional work and commitment to public service. Congratulations to Kimberly, Lois, Matthew, Eileen, and Bradley. You inspire us every day.
Now would be a good time for everyone to put on their videos, take off the mute, and applaud like crazy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay, Matt Alessandrino.
Oh, Eileen.
Kale,
Congrats.
good job, Kale.
We'll get the chance to do this again. So thank you all very much. We're doing something a little different this year, and frankly, we like it. We think we like it, and we hope you do too. That we decided this year that we wanted to have a panel. The panel of our winners, moderated by our own Sasha O'Connell, to share their views on leadership. So we're so excited about this panel and about this discussion. Let me just introduce Sasha. Sasha O'Connell, a good friend and colleague of all of ours, just a wonderful person. She's an executive in residence in the Department of Justice, Law, and Criminology in the School of Public Affairs. She also serves as the director of the Terrorism and Homeland Security Policy Master's Program at SPA, as well as a senior advisor to the National Security Sector of Guidehouse LLC. Her career in the public service includes the FBI, where she served in a number of roles, including as the organization's chief policy advisory, science, and technology, and as section chief for Office of National Policy for the FBI's deputy director. She's the founding board member of #NatSec Girl Squad, where she mentors women entering the national security and law enforcement space and advises organizations on matters related to enhancing diversity in the national security space. What a wonderful mission that is. Welcome, Sasha. I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And thank you so much, Key, for having me here tonight. What an amazing evening. What a way to spark joy. I could not be happier. And I hesitate to start my very short remarks before we turn it to the panel by contradicting any of our winners, but Lois said she has the best job in town, but I have to say, I think I have the best job in town. So I just want to start by saying that being part of American University School of Public Affairs, where we are not only daily sort of helping grow the next generation of public service leaders, but also just, the commitment to our folks who are on the front line today through nights like tonight to recognize the sacrifice and the work and the impact you all have had. It's such a pleasure and such an honor. So I know we don't have too much time. I'm going to tee up a couple questions, honestly, on behalf of our audience, who I'm sure would love to hear more from each of you. So we have a couple questions and we'll kind of go around one at a time. So perhaps, Brad, I can start with you. And our first question for our audience, and perhaps some of the young folks on the line, some students too, is, from your perspective, can you share more about what has been special or unique about your career in the public sector? How do you see that as different, and why is it important to you?
So thank you, Sasha, and hopefully you can hear me. I'm ecstatic to be here this evening with my family here. And to answer your question, as I reflected on that, in my business, across the public and private sector, people with careers are always searching for a purpose and why they do what they do and what motivates them to get up every day and go to an office or go to a workplace, or in the pandemic, go to their home office and work. And the beautiful thing about public service is that our purpose is laid out for us right there in the United States Constitution, which really motivates me to serve our nation, our fellow citizens, and take an oath to uphold the Constitution. So I think that is what, and relatively speaking, very few of us get an opportunity to do that in our country. So while we all get bogged down in the day-to-day bureaucracy and the grind, it's good to step back once in a while and just see that it's really a unique honor to be in a career of public service.
Thank you so much for that. And hello to your family. Congratulations to you too. It's wonderful to see you. Lois, maybe we can go to you next.
Thank you. So what's unique about it is the ability to affect people's lives and to affect the marketplace in a very tangible way. And I'll give you examples. It's the ability to stop the robocaller who pretends to be from the Social Security Administration, telling you your account has been compromised. They need to verify your Social Security number, your financial account information, in order to make sure you continue to receive benefits. It's the scammer who calls saying, we can help reduce or maybe even eliminate your student loan debt, and being able to shut down that kind of operation and bringing it home to something that is far more tangible Think about all those websites selling you PPP that you pay for and that never arrives. All of those promotional pitches for pills, ointments, IV infusion therapies that tout they can treat, cure, prevent COVID-19.
I think we lost Lois for a second. I see everybody else is live. So maybe Kimberly, we can go to you and then hopefully we'll get her back.
Absolutely. So I agree with a lot of what Brad said. With all of what Brad said, you know, public service is such an honor. But what's unique about it is, if I can focus on the word service and the word trust, that the American public trusts public service to deliver on their commitment and what they say they're going to do. The public service is full of outstanding people who are not there for the spotlight. They're not there for the paycheck. They're there for the greater good. And every day they show up, even when it's virtual and even when they have to work from home, to do a great job for the public. And for me at the Transportation Security Administration, that means keeping everyone safe and secure as they use the transportation modes. Our officers on the front line show up and they do an outstanding job. And our federal air marshals are always there in secret on planes, making sure that people arrive at their destination. So there is no sort of greater calling to working in the public service. There is nowhere you can have as much impact. And I think that that is the critical difference in public service.
Thank you so much. Matthew, to you next.
All right, so I want to make sure I'm off mute there. I can pick up kind of where Lois got turned off or got frozen there, but it's the impactful work that we're able to do and the difference that we can make, especially in today's situation. You know, the types of cases we've been able to open and in regards to the CARES Act initiatives that are out there to try and help people, and so, you know, there's been these few that have taken advantage of the situation and are defrauding these programs, and so, you know, us making cases against those individuals sends a message that we're not going to stand for it, and we're going to protect that money that's set aside for people that are really struggling. And so the impact that the work we do, like Lois was saying, is to me so important. A simple $100,000 case may not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it sends a message that we're out here trying to help you all and help the American people, and especially in today's situation, we just need to show that our work is meaningful.
Thank you. That's so helpful. And to hear just even snippets about each of the universes and fields that you each are in, it's just such an important reminder of how broad the impact is. So we have Lois back. I want to go to you quick before we round out the question with Eileen to give you a chance to finish your thought. I'm glad you got back to us. Eileen.
Well, what drove me to public service was the opportunity to influence and shape public policy. And I don't think there's any place better to do that than in the federal sector.
Kimberly, if I can go back to you with my next question, you guys have been so helpful to set the stage in terms of the impact and the difference public service has meant to you and you see it. Can you talk a little bit about the future of public service? What do you see as a potential change? What trends do you see? We've talked a little bit, and I know we all had a little chance to talk in the green room before about the impact of COVID on your jobs. You know, what has that been like for you, and what do you see as change going forward in all of these areas?
So if you had asked me that in January, I think I would answer the same way, that the future is going to be complex. I think the simple things are already being resolved and are easy to do. It will be uncertain. And the federal workforce, the public service, is going to have to be resilient. And so if you think about back to January, what we knew is that we would have a presidential election this year. We didn't know that there would be a pandemic. We didn't know that there was going to be social and racial unrest. We didn't know we were going to have all of these unprecedented storms in this year. But the federal workforce has risen. The public service has really come together. All of the work that we do every day has everyone ready, whether it is training, which is sort of the foundation, whether it is planning and having a strategic vision. We plan and we practice. We have stockpiles of things that we need. And all of that has created an environment where we can serve the public even in these most difficult times. So that ambiguity, the complexity, the uncertainty, I think will go into the future. We just cannot predict what will happen in any given year. Hopefully there won't be quite another 2020, but we will be ready, and our workforce will be more diverse. It will be multi-generational, and there will be a need to reach into the private sector and make it easier for people to come in and, in fact, to energize the next generation to come into public service. I think they are energized. We just need to make it a little easier for them to come in. And then we need to take care of them once they're in the workforce by coaching them and mentoring them and making sure that we have all of the tools that they need to succeed.
Thank you for that. We definitely see that with our students, right, at AU, that energy of the next generation, which again, why I think I have one of the best jobs, right? Seeing that passion from the next generation is always reassuring. Let me try and go back to Lois. Lois, do you want to give us one more shot and try and see if we can hear you? Maybe talk a little bit more, finish your thoughts, and also a vision for what's ahead in the public sector, if we can try and hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, you asked what the future looks like, and let's not kid ourselves. These are challenging times. There's more than a bit of tumult going on, but the future looks bright. At least in my mind, it does. We have shifted, at least at the FTC, we have shifted to remote telework, and we did it seamlessly. It's virtually the entire agency, and the work has continued to pace. The work is getting done. It's getting done efficiently. It's being done effectively. And that's just a remarkable shift to have been able to achieve. And it's not just one agency, it's across the federal government. But when you look toward the future, there's no water cooler to gather around. You know, that kind of one-on-one interchange, the chit chat is not there. So I view that as an internal challenge. How do you build, maintain morale and vision and purpose? And how do you mentor people whom you haven't met actually? But then there's of course the external challenge of how do you continue to communicate with the public? I mean, I think what the last many months have shown us that we know how to do this, we can do it effectively. We know how to leverage technology to improve how we do our jobs, and technology is constantly shifting. But I do think as we look toward a post-pandemic period in the future, it's going to look differently. We will hopefully have learned to work more efficient because of this and to leverage the technology. But let's face it, our office footprint is going to look a lot smaller.
Absolutely, thank you. I mean, just thinking about what the federal agencies have done in Flex and all of you have done over the last 7 months is truly remarkable. Eileen, I want to go back to you. I hope we'll be able to hear you. Maybe finish your thought on kind of the unique nature of the public service work, and then if you could add on to what you see ahead, that would be wonderful.
So I've also gone to the phone, so hopefully you can hear me. Great. In terms of the future, let me start with the future because it builds upon what Lois just said. I believe that public service will be more technology driven as we move into the next generation. I think it'll be more efficient and more nimble. Although we've seen a big shift in technology over the past decade, I think we're just scratching the surface. I believe that artificial intelligence and machine learning will allow us to better predict workloads and how we target our resources where they're most needed. And we'll be able to do that in real time, which is critical for leaders, particularly at this time in federal services where there's a scarcity of resources. I think we'll be much more efficient. And I also think that the workforce itself will change. We've seen our new people coming into the federal workforce. They're very tech savvy. They come in with a lot of new ideas and innovation in the workplace. And I think that we will see things change. As I shared with some of you early on, in our agency, just in the month of November, we transitioned from a paper-based process to an electronic hearing process. right in advance of the, right in the advance of the pandemic. And that was, just luck on our part. But as a result of that, our administrative law judges were able to hear and decide cases, and we were able to meet all of our productivity goals. So it will look different. I think it will also look different in terms of where federal agencies are housed. I think you'll see a shrinking of the federal footprint and federal real estate, as we have demonstrated in 9 months now of telework that we've been able to ensure the continuity of government. And that really is our mission as federal managers, to ensure that the government works and continues even in the most dire situations.
Thank you so much. Again, such an interesting vision of the future. And again, such a compelling reminder of what everyone's been through and what you all have been able to do over the last several months. Brad, can I turn back to you? How do things look in the future from your perspective?
Thanks, Sasha. And just to tag on to the earlier comments, I do think the future's bright. I'm an optimist, so I see a lot of positives, even in spite of the challenges we faced this year, the year 2020. As a human resources, human capital practitioner, I kind of view this through the lens of, what can this do for our current workforce, but also how can we build that talent pipeline going forward? And frankly, if the global pandemic has shown us anything, it's that our federal government can be responsive and agile and innovative to bring forth solutions. My own Defense Logistics Agency has been a major player in the whole of government response to make sure that our nation has the supplies it needs, the PPE, respirators, anything you can think of, equipping not just our military, but also partnering with Health and Human Services to deliver well beyond the scope of what we were chartered for. And to me, that deserves some celebration, and I would like to leverage that to attract a new generation of workers, not just in DLA and the Defense Department, but to the federal government. And so I want people to view public service as not just something honorable to do, but also a great career choice. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Thank you so much. So Matthew, to round it out, we've heard flexibility, adaptation, that the future is bright. I love this last piece about sort of agencies being able to flex beyond their traditional mission space. What else do you see, or what would you add to what your fellow awardees have mentioned?
I agree with Brad and the others. I think it is very bright. I look back. I've got a few girls in college right now, and it wasn't that long ago that we were there. And the recruiters, I remember I was an accounting major, and the recruiters were from the big 8 firms that come out to school, and they had said, don't worry about your career. Worst case scenario, you can always get a GS, which means you can go work for the government. And it hit me because I had always planned on going to work for the government. That was the reason I was there. And so, in some respects, I was annoyed. And I you look forward 30 years now, and I think folks that are, we're looking at kids at a college now, and they're excited to come work for the government. It's not an afterthought. It's not, well, what if I don't get something else? I think they're, again, the work we're doing is so impactful and important, and they recognize that. And so I think they're excited about coming to work for the government now. I know I was, but it didn't seem like that was the case, back when I was being recruited.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you for your responses. The next question I wanted to ask, tonight we are celebrating your excellence in leadership and your impact in the public sector. Can you talk a little bit about what leadership excellence looks like to you, both for you, maybe some lessons learned, and maybe what you've seen in some mentors or folks you've worked with? How do you kind of visualize that? Maybe Kimberly, I'll come back to you to start.
Well, thank you for starting with me. So first, I mentioned that I lead enterprise support for TSA, which means all of the support services, whether they be human capital or acquisitions or IT. And when I think about excellence in leadership and what does that look like, it looks like the people. And I have the best team. They're not just good, they produce excellence for TSA so that TSA can provide excellence to the traveling public. So what does excellence it looks like? It looks like the people. To make sure you're incentivizing excellence, in the organization. I've had great leaders who always were creating the venue to incentivize excellence so that you knew that your good work would be rewarded. It's leading by example. I would not ask anyone to do something I would not do. We travel together, we work out problems together, we deal with the hard decisions together. It's all about leading your team so that you can have excellence in the work product that you produce. So part of it is I absolutely have the best team. I think the best team in government. I know I am biased, but I'm pretty sure I'm also right. Also, you know, being yourself. So I have had a number of leaders who were just terrific. A couple of them are on the Zoom call, and I can take their lead and build a lot of that into what I do, but I have to do it. I have to be myself, because if you're not authentic, people will know it, and they're not going to follow your lead. So excellence in leadership is all about the people and all about getting out of their way so that they can do excellent work, which is what my team at Enterprise Support does every day.
Thank you for that. Hearing you talk, I miss my old team at the Department of Justice. I always say, people ask about my career, I said, the people, it's amazing. It's an honor to work in that kind of collaborative environment. Maybe Lois, can I go to you next on sort of what leadership looks like, feels like, means to you? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, I think I'm off mute now. Kimberly nailed it. I would preface what she said, though, you have to know the mission. You have to understand the mission, and you have to have a vision for how to accomplish that mission. And then you need to be held fully accountable to others and hold yourself accountable. And after that, it is all about the people, exactly what Kimberly said. You've got to be able to create an environment that promotes learning, fosters creativity, encourages innovation. You know, we always ask, how was it done before? And that's a perfectly good question to ask because you want to know, but that doesn't mean that's the way to do it going forward. So it's creating that kind of environment where people really feel passionate about the work they do and care about the work they do. And I know a lot of my colleagues are watching, current and former. We could compete among ourselves here. Who's got the best team that they work with? Who has worked with the more outstanding, tremendous colleagues? I think it's a reflection of the caliber of those in public service that we're even having that kind of conversation. And it's really inspiring to be able to do that. So it is the people. Thank you.
Thank you, absolutely. I love that that's the competition, that's the debate. It's wonderful. Eileen, can I turn it over to you? What else do you see when you see excellence in leadership in your space? Oh, we need you off mute, sorry.
Thank you, thank you. Well, my experience has been excellence in leadership. You know it when you see it. As a leader, of course, you know, as Lois said, you need to chart the strategic vision for the organization, but you can't do that in a vacuum. And as an excellent leader, you must be an effective communicator because it's critical to be able to translate that vision to everyone in the organization. Each and every person needs to know how they are contributing to the success of your organization. And you do need to seek input when you can. In our organization, we have a phrase that we like to lead by walking around, that leaders should walk the floors of their organizations and engage with their employees, get to know them on a personal level, know something about each and every one of them. And that makes you, as others have said, a more authentic leader. You know, appreciating your employees obviously increases employee engagement and satisfaction, which leads to increased productivity and commitment to the organization. And as others have said, above all, excellent leaders should model the behavior that they expect from their staff, and that you should always lead with integrity. And in my experience, an excellent leader is also the person that surrounds themselves with excellent people, because we do not do this in a vacuum, nor do we succeed in a vacuum. So my success belongs to everyone that has worked for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Matthew, I'll go to you. What do you have? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think I basically agree with everything that's just was said. It's all about the people, making sure that the work they have, the mission they have is important, and they understand what it is, giving them the tools and the resources to get that job done, and then getting out of the way and giving them the autonomy. And if there's one thing that the last 9 months has shown us, that giving people the resources and the autonomy to get their job done in this situation really shows that as leaders, we've made some great decisions in our recruitment and our development of folks to be able to handle a situation like we're handling it in such an incredible manner. So to me, it's getting people what they need and the support they need, and then just hold them accountable.
Thank you so much, Brad. To round it out, thoughts on excellence in leadership, what you've seen and what you've learned through your experiences.
Well, I'm not sure I could add much to what has just been said. I would certainly agree that it's about the people, especially as you rise in the ranks and advance to more senior positions. And certainly job one for those of us in the senior executive service is to grow that next generation of leaders and take care of the people. And I'll borrow a phrase from my nominator, Lieutenant General Williams, who used to say, if you take care of the people, the mission will take care of itself. And I think that really is something that I've lived during my career. And to just to kind of to cap that off, we also see excellence in leadership in the results themselves. And we've talked about a lot of those things tonight from the awardees. But when you look at what these federal agencies that are often, under-resourced or undermanned, look at what they've accomplished. And when you step back, that is way more often than not the result of excellent leadership. And so it's hard to separate the results from the people that are accomplishing those. So that's how I cap it off. Thanks, Sasha.
Thank you. So if folks in the audience want to submit questions, I know we just have a few minutes left. I want to do one more. I'm going to sneak in for our panelists that I didn't say in advance, but I have no doubt they're prepared for. And maybe, Brad, I can start back with you. We've talked a lot about the next generation of public service leaders. Folks I know are hearing you and are so inspired and will watch the video of this and be inspired. Our students will. What advice do you have, right, for those younger folks considering a career, looking to you as a guide? What suggestions or input would you have as they set out down that course, whether it be how to focus academically, how to approach a federal career? If I can pick on you, Brad, and start back with you, then open it to everybody else, that would be great.
So I've mentored a number of people over the course of my career over the past several years. And one consistent theme in the advice I give for people who are often seeking advancement, but are a little bit worried about whether they're ready. Every job that I've taken that was a new opportunity or promotion, I've always had that feeling in my gut that I wasn't quite ready for it, or I wasn't quite qualified for it. So the advice I give people is take that risk, because chances are, if you're being asked to do something, somebody has seen something in you that tells them that in fact you're equipped to do that job. So we have a lot of people with great talent, but a little bit of self-doubt. And so that is something I would advise the younger generation to try to overcome.
Thank you so much. I share that advice as well. I would say it's a good sign if you have a little self-doubt, right? You have an appreciation for what's ahead for you. So always a good sign. Anyone else on the panel want to jump in on that and offer some advice for folks either getting started in their public sector careers or thinking about, as Brad talked about, sort of heading into that leadership role? Lois, did you want
to? Yes, can you hear me? Thank you, Sasha. So I think in a similar manner, but slightly differently, I think in terms of stretching, doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, and trying to learn as much as you possibly can about what's going on in your agency. Don't think of yourself in a silo. You're part of a unit, a division, which is part of a bureau, which is part of an agency. There are so many opportunities out there to take advantage of. And it is risk-taking, but it's also just constantly pushing yourself. I mean, one of the things I love about my job is that I'm learning stuff every day, and it's always different. And also, it's not just learning stuff; it's doing different things. It's finding opportunities to give a speech, talk to the press, file a case in court, do a presentation to a class, whatever it is, so that you constantly feel that you're growing. And last thing I'll say is search out mentors, not just necessarily one or two, but mentors across different areas of interest. Thanks, Sasha.
Thank you. We have a couple minutes left. I wanted to offer Eileen and Matthew and Kimberly also to respond to that. Maybe Kimberly, to you, advice for folks, again, starting out or mid-career, thinking about a way forward. Oh, we have you on mute.
Okay, sorry. So for young people, I would recommend, highly recommend, that they do an internship in the federal government. I think they will be pleasantly surprised at all of the opportunities that the federal government provides. I think earlier one of the panelists talked about having a job, and it's really not a job. You're really not working because you're loving what you do. I came to the federal government. I did not plan to do it. I ended up in a position that was actually a temporary government position, sitting in a room in Suitland, working on the decennial census. And the people I worked with were so smart and they were so capable. I learned so much in such a brief period of time. I was sold. I realized what a huge impact you can have in the federal government. So for young people who are trying to figure out what to do, especially if they're still in school, do an internship program. Get to know what the federal government does. I guarantee you, if you just look around, you'll find something that is of great interest to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Maybe to Matthew, and then Eileen will give you the last word before we turn it back to Patrick.
Yeah, I agree. It's the flexibility and the acceptance of change. In the 30 years that I've been in the government, I've been 3 or 4 different agencies and taken on different roles, and each one has been very challenging, and I've learned a lot and continue to learn. So I think being flexible and like Brad said, take some risks. Don't be afraid to take on a position or a project or some type of assignment that is out of your comfort level. It helps you just grow as an individual. So basically a combination of what the other 3 just said. Yeah.
Thank you. And Eileen, to you for the last word.
Well, I mean, I want to echo and reinforce what everyone says. Of course, we do want to encourage, the new generation to take advantage of every opportunity that they have and make themselves available for details. You never know what you're going to be called upon or asked to do. I mean, our agency, HHS, we're leading the fight against the global pandemic, and we have a number of employees that are currently on detail, getting ready for when we as a country are ready to roll out vaccines and getting all of that done. I think the message that we as leaders need to convey to the next generation is that it is okay to make a mistake, take a risk, but you learn from your mistakes and you're all the much more stronger for that. And your outcomes down the road will be much better. And I think it's important for us to instill that in our employees that work for us.
Wonderful.
The future is bright, and the millennials bring a unique perspective to federal service. I think federal service will look different for them than it has for us. Our generation tended to come into federal service and stay in federal service for many years. I think the millennials tend to want to come into federal service, leave federal service and work in the private sector. I think that that's fine. It makes them richer employees in their perspective. But I think it's going to be different, but it's going to be in very good hands.
Well, thank you so much on that very positive ending note. I want to thank you all again. I hope you're getting a chance to see all the congratulations in the chat and feeling the love from the over 100 folks who have joined us tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Patrick in just 1 minute for final words. But again, I thank you so much for your service, your impact, and again, on top of everything, taking time to be with us tonight and share more of your thoughts. So congratulations to all of you. And Patrick, I will hand the mic back to you.
Thank you, Sasha, and thank you to you for such a wonderful job facilitating Yeah, I don't know about everybody else, but I've been taking notes, and a lot of them, and I think we may have, Jennifer, I think we may have just found 5 new faculty members for the key program. So we're going to make that happen maybe. So thank you all so much. And you know, it's an amazing evening whenever you can have senior leaders like this who get to debate who has the best team. And I think the comments were right on the mark, which is that we all have the best team. The federal service, the public service, you all deliver civilization and democracy and safety to us every single day. And we cannot thank you enough. So I just want to say one more time, thank you, Eileen, Matthew, Kimberly, Lois, Brad. We are so proud of you. We're so happy for you. And we're so honored that you took the time to be with us tonight. I want to remind everyone that the nomination cycle for the Roger Jones Award for next year starts at the end of this year. Please watch your email. You will see it from us. And we look forward to a lot of nominations. And once again, Eileen, Matthew, Kimberly, Lois, Brad, thanks again. Congratulations. Now let's turn those microphones on, turn those videos on, and end this thing with a lot of noise.
Way to go, Matt.
Right, thank you, Judge Griswold.
Congratulations.
Eileen.
Congratulations, Matt.
Thanks so much.
Have a good night. Congratulations, Kimberly.
Sure.